got an anchor right in front of it. Look at that. We've got another anchor there. Very nice. So we've got an anchor and a ray. So say we never know what will swim up. Now that wasn't a manta ray, that was a spotted eagle ray. A little bit different. A spotted eagle ray, they've got a dark back with white spots everywhere. And hopefully we'll get to see another one, but that's quite lucky. Now, the reason we probably saw it is you notice on our starboard side, we've got a whole lot of nothing. Looks like nothing, but it's actually halimede algae. Halimede algae is very important, and we'll talk about it a bit later, but you notice that the ray looks similar to the ocean floor. It hides out there. So that's probably where it was just coming from. Whereas over here on our port side, you've got a lava ridge. It's all rock under there. That's all basalt. The lava rock has formed a ridge, and then on top of that rock, coral has grown. And we're starting to see fish. That means our northern reef must be coming into view. Look at that. So we've got land sloping down and away, and that's actually heading back towards Maui, over here on our starboard side. And on our port side, this ridge is heading up and away from Maui. So down here you notice we've got up and down undulations just like up on the surface there. Ridges and valleys. And we've also got fish. Look at that reef. That is another plate coral reef. And I love this reef. It's thriving. And look how it grows out over itself. It's got a lot of big caverns and caves. Now to give you an idea of the size of those caves, some of our crew have scuba dived down inside, and I can fit inside that cave completely. You can swim in there, not a problem. We've got lots of damsels out there again, and these are actually yellow-striped goatfish. The goatfish that are hunkering down towards the bottom of the cave there. Notice on their chin they've got a barbel. That barbel looks like a goatee. It hangs down, and that's why they're called goatfish. Now with the goatfish, they're very unique, because down here in the water we get lots of different sounds. The Dacilus damsels, they chirp, they make a chirping sound. We get parrotfish that nibble, there's a grinding sound. But the goatfish, they have a sound that it kind of stands out. Here, listen, and we have some sonar that we can actually listen into outside. See if you can hear what they sound like. Yeah, it's unique. It's incredible. I don't know how goatfish, and they sound like goats. Nah, I didn't hear it. Oh, it's fun. It just gets better, I tell you. But we're getting a nice aerial view, or aquarial view, I should say. We're above the reef here, looking down. So the fish aren't fanned out right now because of the strong current. When the current's stronger, they tend to go down towards the bottom and hang out together at the bottom. And later in the day, as the current slackens, we'll notice that the fish kind of spread out a little bit more. But they'll only go out so far. This is where they live, and they'll spend their whole life again here. So that last reef, the fish from there won't ever come here. And these fish will never go over there. This is where they'll spend their whole life. I think today it's just in the speakers, so it should be okay, but if you feel like you can still scream. Alright, do you want to see a sunken ship?
Yeah.
Alright, that one we can do. I can't guarantee a shark, but I can a sunken ship. Our pilot has brought us down here. How about some theme music for the sunken ship? Look at that. Dual-masted cargo ship.
This is a sailor. What a trip.
Yep, she was built in 1920. Kiel, Germany.
Big things hanging on the wall.
Look at the moofish. Yeah, those are moofish hanging out there. Oh, look at that! We have a star amongst us, SpongeBob. He's come out to say hello. He subleases property in the ship there. He films. Yeah, kids, you're in for a treat. SpongeBob as Mr. SquarePants himself. We've got some spotted eagle rays on our starboard side, right down there. Look at that. Two of them floating majestically. Look at that. So we've got a sunken ship on one side and spotted eagle rays on the other. And SpongeBob filming it all. You can't get better than that. Yeah, Mr. SquarePants, he's pretty generous with his time. He might stay out there for a little while for the other side to see it. Look at that. Now as we're rotating around, visibility is really good. We might be able to see those rays on the other side. Those are spotted eagle rays again.
What's the history of the boat?
Now the boat, being built in 1920, was a dual-masted cargo ship and sailed the Baltic Sea for over 50 years. And she served well there, but eventually she was found to be too slow and too small. And they retired her in 1960, and she spent about 10 years in Sweden before the Lahaina Restoration Foundation heard about her and purchased her in 1970. And she was sailed from Denmark through the Panama Canal on a 111-day journey to here in Hawaii. And then once here they spent 3 years refitting out the ship to make her look like a 1800s whaling vessel. Put concrete in the bottom and turned her into a museum. So she served as a floating museum for over 30 years, chained to the harbor wall, right out there in Lahaina. You still may see pictures of her there in Lahaina. So I'll pass down a few pictures. You can have a look at what she looked like before she came down here. Now, after 30 years serving as a museum, she was too heavy to be taken out of the water. And being not taken care of properly, she actually sprang a leak and was doomed unfit for patrons. Look at all the moofish there. Those are moofish. Now moofish are also called kane or manfish because they have teeth like man. They need those teeth to eat their diet of crab and lobster. Now you can imagine what they taste like if all they eat is crab and lobster. It's a really nice fish, but that one you have to come down and spear because baiting them with crab and lobster is a bit expensive. Yeah. But the ship actually, once it started to spring a leak and was condemned, Atlantis got very excited because, as you can tell, we like boats that go under the water. Yeah. Now, we ended up buying the ship for $1.04. $1.04. That's including tax.
As long as we get it away from the harbor.
That was it. As long as we could get it away from the harbor and take her out and sink her properly. Now, it sounds like a good deal, but it took 3 years and $300,000 to bring her out here and sink her where you see today. Most of that went to permits and environmental statements. But the Army Corps of Engineers surveyed this area and found it was the best spot because everywhere around you notice is sand. There's nowhere that coral can grow, and where there's no coral, there's no fish. So by putting the ship there, we created an artificial reef that has coral thriving, and now where you couldn't find a fish, there's nothing but fish, and we have all sorts of beautiful creatures there. So it's a very successful artificial reef. And it's also put in shallower waters at less than 100 feet. So if you're a scuba diver, you can actually bring your boat out here and tie off to the underwater mooring off the bow and stern for free and come down and dive the wreck, which is pretty cool. So it's a service for Hawaii, really. So here we are coming on the port side. You can see here has become the little bright yellow-nosed and purple tail. So they're hanging around waiting for a larger fish to come. Because they don't eat the algae, all they do is eat the parasites off of the larger fish. So this is what we think of as a car wash for fish, a fish wash. Lots of different fish out here.
Are those lines old fishing line, or is that more?
Now you notice we had somebody ask about the white line that's laying on there. That's not old fishing line. That's actually a spaghetti worm. That is alive. It's a spaghetti worm.
And there's thing too. I think I've done them on me before. A type of like a jelly.
Now keep your eyes open on both sides because this area is a great place to see those spotted eagle rays. They come out here and they forage for shellfish. They actually have two plates in their mouth. They don't have teeth. They have two flat plates, and they'll come out here and forage in the sand and scoop up shellfish and then crush it in those plates. And that's what they eat. And they also blend in really well to the halibut algae, so they'll come and hang out here. And as we're waiting here, I'm going to pass down a piece of acrylic glass for you guys to have a look at while we listen into our pilot. It looks like we've been hailed from above, and our wonderful tour down here is coming to an end. So let's listen in over the underwater sonar. Just before we do that, look out here on our port side. We have a helmet shell.
Straight down.
Straight down. Really nice to see.
Surface, this is Atlantis number 4. We're currently here at Keiki Reef, coming up from a total depth of 130 feet, requesting permission to begin our ascent.
I'd like you to ask the 40 feet above Keiki Reef for visual contact. All set, surface heading of 330.
Roger, sitting to 40 feet, hold there.